Mom, can we have some chicken McNuggets?
Who on earth could love McDonald's without having a soft spot for those savory McNuggets? Those handheld chicken delights? Those dunkable chicken nugs? Well, there are certain facts you may or may not know about these little handheld dunkable goodies. Some you may want to know, and others you may not. So let's look at 10 Chicken McNugget secrets McDonald's is hiding from you.
What's in the Chicken McNugget?
Chicken McNuggets have 4 standardized shapes.
The 4 Chicken McNugget shapes.
This is probably the case when it comes to most nugget companies. As we are all reminiscing on Burger King's OG crown-shaped nugs, they literally take the crown for best shaped. But nothing tastes quite as good as those boot-shaped Chicken McNuggets with a side of sweet and sour sauce. Apparently, there are 4 different shapes: boot, bell, bone, and ball. Who would have thunk it? They're standardized to make sure they cook properly every single time. These curated shapes were also made intentionally for the perfect dunking of sauces every time. The boot is the best for dunking, no questions asked. None. Seriously.
I know you've got a lot of questions.
Next time you get a box of McNuggets, see if they give you at least one of each shape and see what your favorite one is for dipping. It will be the boot. Really, it will be. Pinky swear.
Pinky swear.
Was pink slime once in the McNugget?
This is pink slime.
According to McDonald's, they stopped using pink slime in their nuggets. The pink slime was simply finely textured beef derived through a process which is used quite often in the fast food industry, and it was rumored to be in their Chicken McNuggets at one time. That being said, a supply chain manager debunked this rumor by sharing a video of a chicken carcass, removing the parts, grinding up all the meat and skin to turn into a putty texture before getting a chemical treatment and being shaped into your favorite nuggets. Does that sound more appetizing to you? Maybe not.
No.
At least it's not made of beef. If you really wanted beef, I'm sure you'd order a Big Mac. Since sharing the video, Mickey D's is not actively trying to hide the way they make their food, but it doesn't make it any less gross. Either way, thank goodness they don't sneak pink slime into your precious white meat nuggets anymore.
That still looks like meat.
Absolutely.
The McNugget was grown from fear of red meat.
Dead meat.
On the topic of beef being not so secretly hidden in the precious McNuggets, McDonald's invented them in the late 1970s during a rise of poor heart health, which a lot of the time led to death. Lots of nutritionists believe the rise in heart condition cases were due to the overconsumption of red meat. This news resulted in a huge loss of business for much of the American fast food industry. Scientists from all over the country pinpointed the culprits, and they were cholesterol and saturated fat. And what caused them? Beef.
What's the beef here exactly?
Trying to come up with ways to keep their customers, McDonald's eventually created the Chicken McNugget to give customers an alternative to red meat and add more poultry in people's diets. Does that mean that McNuggets are healthy? Well, let's just say healthier if that's your point of comparison. Anyways, that would probably explain why there are so many versions of chicken on their menu, including grilled chicken wraps. What could possibly be healthier than a grilled chicken wrap? So we're glad that there's some chicken for those not in the mood for Big Macs. Just remember, moderation is key.
Well, I'm not going to remember any of this.
The Chicken McNugget wasn't their first McNugget.
I've seen how they make the Chicken McNuggets and
Imagine your favorite McNugget, but replace the chicken with onion? Yes, onion nuggets were introduced in the 70s, before Chicken McNuggets, and were literally pieces of diced onion that were breaded and fried like your favorite McNuggets. They were kinda like onion rings, but nuggets. Onion ring nuggets. That has a bit of a ring to it, don't you think? It was McDonald's first attempt at combating the red meat fear that was starting to make rumblings, and let's just say it wasn't a hit. They sound pretty delicious though.
Delicious!
Unfortunately, the only way to get onions at McDonald's today is in some of their sandwiches and maybe some of their salads. But who goes to McDonald's to eat onions anyways? Not judging. But a little curious if they'll ever bring back the nostalgic onion nuggets and if there is even a following of people clamoring for their return.
Lois, it's back!
The inventor of the Chicken McNugget cooked for the Queen.
Pampered like the Queen of England.
René Arend was a Luxembourg-raised chef who created the Chicken McNugget. When Americans were avoiding McDonald's during the cholesterol red meat scare, the fast food chain wanted to hire the very best. And who better than a royal chef? He had a history of cooking for Queen Elizabeth II and the King of Belgium.
Your Majesty.
He was also the one who thought of the failed chicken pot pie, as well as wanting to add fried chicken to an already flooded fast food market. Arend then created the Chicken McNugget that we know and love today after the failed onion nugget that didn't get as much love from McDonald's loyalists. Mr. Arend definitely deserves some sort of award for blessing the world with McNuggets. Let's call it the Chicken Cup, maybe? Something with dignity and chickens.
A chicken strip party pack for all your friends.
A single McNugget is made with over 40 ingredients.
Almost ready to be entrusted with a secret ingredient.
Now, before you freak out by that number, keep in mind a lot of these ingredients are living in your pantry too. This includes spices and flour. Were you expecting a list of all of them? Who knows what's included in those chicken-flavored delights? But here's a few for starters. To give you somewhat of an answer, MSG is used in the McNuggets to make you believe there's more protein in the nuggets than there really is. What do they mean when they say all white chicken meat?
This is 100% white meat chicken.
They mean all white chicken meat plus all that other stuff that doesn't sound good in commercials. So even though there's no telling what 30 other ingredients are included, we know that there are spices, flour, chicken, MSG, and dimethylpolysiloxane. Oh, and tertiary butyl hydroquinone, which is a really long word for a petroleum-based additive. McDonald's uses this one to make sure that the chicken nuggets stay in those gorgeous shapes mentioned before and don't fall apart before being served. Although McDonald's stated in 2016 that they stopped using preservatives in their chicken, who goes to McDonald's to be healthy anyways?
Because there's a McDonald's denial.
The McNugget ingredients vary from country to country.
Tell them what your secret ingredient is.
Going back to one of the last points, the United Kingdom refuses to use the silicone-based dimethylpolysiloxane in their McNuggets. On top of putty, this ingredient is found in contact lenses, breast implants, shampoo, and heat-resistant tiles. That would explain why they don't serve it, but how it's still allowed to be used in the United States of America is one big question mark.
What's your question?
At the same time, wouldn't the McNuggets really be just as delicious without it? Who knows? We're not sure what ingredients are in every McNugget in every country, but next time you travel, see if the McNuggets taste any different.
That reminds me of my childhood.
It was not McDonald's first chicken dish.
It wasn't right the first time you said it.
Although the vast majority of McDonald's loyalists may think of the McNugget as the king of McDonald's chicken dishes, the Golden Arches had tried other chicken dishes including chicken pot pie and fried chicken. Both recipes were invented by René Arend, the former royal chef mentioned earlier. "Oh, I'm craving McDonald's fried chicken," said no one ever.
Is this chicken?
Needless to say, they were unsuccessful with their first chicken contenders after being blown out of the water by KFC and Popeyes. Even though it didn't work back then, McDonald's is still trying to be more of a winner-winner when it comes to their chicken dinner. With Chick-fil-A being a popular favorite, McDonald's wants to grab some of those paltry customers by improving the quality of their chicken. To become a better quality chicken contender, McDonald's is trying to shift to antibiotic-free chicken and almost replicate Chick-fil-A's crispy chicken tenders that have been a big hit in the American market. If McDonald's does try to compete directly with Chick-fil-A and offers lower prices for the same quality chicken, it might win over chicken lovers all over the USA.
They love chicken.
The McRib was used as a distraction.
I think I'll do 5 McRibs, please.
After Arend invented the McNugget back in 1979, the demand kept getting bigger and the franchises couldn't keep up. They were literally running out of Chicken McNuggets. They decided that instead of admitting that they ran out or were running low, they chose to create a completely new dish to distract customers from the lack of McNuggets. It was a little ironic because they used a pork dish, the McRib, to distract customers from chicken. This was again created as an alternative for customers wanting to avoid eating red meat. But isn't pork just another red meat? Who else is confused? Anyways, it worked for a little while. The McRib was a barbecue-flavored pork sandwich that was inspired by the pulled pork that French chef René Arend tried during a trip to South Carolina. It was invented in 1981 and unfortunately was discontinued due to its lack of popularity by 1985. Maybe because customers were afraid pork was also a contributor to high cholesterol and they too would be a victim of heart disease? Maybe?
Homer, Dr. Hibbert told you to eat healthier.
Just a thought. That being said, this McRib was also made with roughly 70 ingredients, so it's no wonder that they stopped making it. Don't ask about what they are, just don't. That's obviously not the reason, it just didn't have the same popularity as the McNugget. Despite losing its popularity, by 1994 the McRib had somehow developed a bit of a cult following, which would explain why McDonald's occasionally decides to relaunch the sandwich. It may not be chicken nuggets, but customers still remember it lovingly. If your local McDonald's brings the McRib out for another limited run, try it out and see if you love it as much as the McNuggets.
Chicken nuggets.
McDonald's sells more chicken products than beef.
Out of everything you could have cooked tonight, you decided to fry chicken.
Isn't the Big Mac the first thing that comes to mind when someone mentions McDonald's? Well, surprisingly enough, McDonald's sells more Chicken McNuggets, wraps, and McChicken sandwiches than they do beef products. Considering that chicken is also in a number of its salads and the majority of the beef is in their sandwiches, it would make sense if you really thought of all of the different ways you can eat chicken at Mickey D's. On top of that, with McNuggets being served in packs of up to 20, there's no question as to how they're able to sell so much chicken. There's just something about the flavor of the McNugget and other fried chicken at McDonald's that just draws you in. And there's nothing that tastes quite like that iconic, flaky breading. It's so light and airy, you almost forget how much fat and salt is in every bite. It definitely takes us back to the nostalgic days of our youth.
There it is, boys, the fountain of youth.
The delicious dunkable chicken nuggets are the perfect snack after class, after work, or after a late night out on the town. There's zero bias here. Promise. Okay, maybe a little. But one thing never changes, and that is the fact that the late-night crowd will continue to visit their local McD's in the early hours of the morning, and you can bet at least one person will be ordering up some Chicken McNuggets. But really, the Golden Arches are mostly known as the ultimate American fast food burger joint, yet the majority of its profits come from chicken. That's like finding out that Bath & Body Works, a place known for skincare products, actually make all their money selling candles. We all know those 3-wick candles are to die for. At the end of the day, people are still going back to McDonald's for the Chicken McNuggets no matter what chemicals or other questionable ingredients may be inside. There's no doubt they still manage to taste pretty darn good every time they're ordered. So the real question then becomes, what's your favorite dipping sauce of choice?
I'm a barbecue man myself. What about you?
Sweet and sour.
Help yourself to another one of our great videos and tap that screen. Checking us out for the first time? Then take a second to hit that subscribe button and ring that bell to join our notification squad.